Have you ever felt the sting of betrayal? I truly hope that's not the case. It's an unpleasant sensation that I wouldn't wish upon anyone. Regrettably, I found myself confronting this situation directly. It would be perfectly acceptable if it were merely a trifle. After all, everyone is prone to making mistakes. But what unfolded in my life and how those I held dear betrayed me. This is a tale waiting to unfold. Mark my words. Those who played a part in this will come to deeply regret their actions. Gather round, for I have a tale to share. Delight in the experience of watching it unfold. My name is Todd, and I see myself as an appealing and clever individual. Or at least that's how I perceive it. I carry a strong sense of self-worth. In the realm of technology, I navigate the intricate pathways as a programmer, finding success within the bustling corridors of a commercial company. It's truly remarkable that I can dedicate just 50 minutes a week and still reap a significant financial reward for my efforts. Yet, that doesn't imply I'm inactive during the other moments. Each day unfolds a new chapter of growth and discovery for me. I was the one who brought it to life. Through countless pages of motivational books and inspiring interviews with those who have achieved great wealth, I found the strength within myself to rise from the depths of poverty. Thus, I hold dear all that I have, and with each passing day, I find gratitude for my possessions. Yet, I believe my most remarkable accomplishment in this journey of life is my beloved wife, Judith, who graces my days with her youthful spirit. Being for years my junior. She is 25 years old, while I am 29. She graces the world as a model, weaving her way through various advertising campaigns, captivating a significant following on social media, and embracing the joys of life. Judith possesses a graceful, sunlit figure, with elegantly sculpted ties and the captivating bust that draws the eye. Yet, she had not always been that way. Her life took a remarkable turn after our paths crossed. When we first crossed paths, she was just a simple cashier in a store, lacking any dreams or aspirations. Yet, I observed the glimmer within her and fanned the flames of it. Even then, I found myself in a favorable spot, and while my earnings weren't as high as they are today, I was able to enjoy many comforts. Judith made the bold decision to leave her job as a cashier, and in her journey, I discovered an exceptional producer who guided her to triumph on social media. Now, our united earnings enable us to embrace a life of luxury. This may come across as a tale of triumph and other fanciful notions, and truthfully, I believed that as well, until life delivered a harsh dose of reality right to my doorstep. There were once two companions from my school days, Philip and Alan, who journeyed alongside me until a particular moment in time. At 18, we embarked on our first venture, an ice cream stand. But alas, it swiftly melted away into oblivion. Half a year passed, and we embarked on a new venture, offering hot dogs to the world. Yet, after 5 months of sizzling dreams, we found ourselves closing the doors on that chapter. Following that, there were further endeavors, yet each one proved to be in vain. At 21, I came to a pivotal moment in my life, sensing that a transformation was essential. I ventured into the IT field, a realm unfamiliar to me, yet I felt a deep conviction that it promised a bright future. My friends dismissed my idea, claiming it was a waste of time. Embrace the tangible, craft your own narrative, and forge your path rather than following another's footsteps. I found myself at odds with them, for I had the foresight to see beyond the present moment. I came to realize that mastering a craft takes dedication and skill. It opened the door for me to embark on my own journey in the future. And indeed, that's how it unfolded. Philip and Alan pressed on, weaving their dreams into the fabric of a burgeoning business. In this moment, there exists but a single fast food stand, a steadfast presence for 3 years, consistently delivering profits that they share equally. Yet, in the grand scheme of my earnings, their profit amounts to mere crumbs. Rather than venturing into uncharted territory and progressing, They, much like obstinate sheep, persisted in striking the same spot over and over. They achieved their goal, yet I sense it may not be the outcome they truly desired. I had the means to journey across various lands, acquire luxurious attire and vehicles, savor meals in fine establishments, and share my life with a partner of striking beauty. These two remained in the city, confronting tension arising from their everyday pursuits. I hold no anger towards them for their choice not to join me. It was their choice, and I can see where they're coming from. Now we share a bond, yet it lacks the depth it once held. On weekends, they are welcome to gather at my home, settle into my leather couch, and immerse themselves in the world of video games together, and share the simple moments of life together. In spite of our differences, we nurtured a strong bond and frequently gathered, primarily at my home. They admired my lavish abode, yet I found it lacking. In that moment, it struck me that my wife was equally captivating to them. To me, gatherings with Philip and Alan felt like a diversion. They were just ordinary fellows, lacking. In the realm of learning, I found joy in the moments spent with them, sharing a beer and diving into conversations filled with delightful nonsense. I refrained from showing off in their presence. In contrast, I made an effort to connect with them, embracing a more grounded approach. Judith was never in opposition to me dedicating a few evenings each week to the company of friends. She surrounded herself with her own circle of friends, often spending time in their company. Judith and I embraced the art of hospitality, ensuring our home was always filled with warmth and laughter. One evening, as I made my way home, I encountered my neighbor, Jimmy, who had something to share. He held the role of a director. He paused in his tracks and inquired, "Todd, how are you? I wish to tread lightly and, above all, it's crucial to clarify that I'm not observing you. Yet I couldn't help but notice something unusual. In your absence, a Ford frequently finds its way to the vicinity of your dwelling. I even captured a moment of it." As I grasped his phone, my eyes began to wander over the images captured within. The image captured a white Ford, my companion, Philip's chariot. "Thank you, Mr. Jefferson, for your kind attention. I shall endeavor to uncover the mysteries at play. It is my pleasure. Hold on a moment. Could I trouble you for a small favor? When you're at home during the day, could you please watch over should you happen upon the house? And if the car catches your eye, do you share the news with me. Not an issue at all. Sleep well. Dear friend, my heartfelt gratitude to you. As the day draws to a close, I bid you a peaceful night. A warning sign, unmistakable and impossible to overlook. Why is my friend visiting my wife while I'm at work? With this question lingering in my thoughts, I stepped into the house, where Judith welcomed me with open arms. She emerged in a flowing white robe, and without uttering a single word, began, "Darling, I'm so glad you're home. Gather round, for I have a delightful surprise waiting just for you." It is essential to tug on this thread. I tugged at the string, and before me revealed itself a masterpiece. Judith acquired a captivating new costume. It was an outfit worn by a healer of the sick. It seems you might be feeling a little weary, but I have just the remedy for that. First, you must cleanse yourself with a refreshing shower, and then I shall be patiently awaiting your arrival in my medical office. I swiftly stepped into the shower, and that night with Judith became one for the ages. Such unexpectedness created all my thoughts drift away, and I fully embraced the present moment. The following day unfolded with the promise of togetherness, as I found myself free from any obligations, allowing Judith and me to share the entire day in each other's company. It crossed my mind that maybe yesterday, Philip swung by to retrieve something he had left behind and simply make a brief visit. At least that's the tale I wished to weave. I found it hard to entertain the notion that Judith might betray my trust, particularly with someone I considered a friend. Judith and I experienced a day that felt quite typical, and as the evening approached, We envisioned unwinding together by enjoying a film, yet our plans took an unexpected turn when Alan stepped in, eager to extend an invitation to us for a new adventure. "My friend, how about we venture to the club this evening? It promises to be an enjoyable experience. Feel free to invite Judith to join us." I turned it down, not just because Judith and I had our own plans for the evening held little allure for me, particularly since the thought of venturing into clubs felt unappealing. Judith would surely find it tedious, especially given that Philip and Alan were without partners. Philip endeavored to forge connections and even entered into marriage, yet he betrayed his wife, leading to a tumultuous turn of events. Departed from him, Alan's journey through love has been marked by misfortune, with his most enduring romance barely reaching the milestone of a year. I often shared with them that if they wished to venture out as a pair, they ought to seek out companions of the female kind. They would merely nod in silence, assuring that they would seek someone soon. I shared with Judith the tale of Alan's. As I presented my proposal, I couldn't help but see the flicker of disappointment in her eyes. It seemed she had a desire to venture out and enjoy herself. Yet I found myself not giving it much thought. The following day, I found myself heading off to work. With a gentle press of my lips against Judith's, I took my leave. At the stroke of noon, my neighbor Jimmy reached out to me and shared the tale. "Once more, Todd, a car finds its resting place near your abode." At some point, I found myself reaching out to share this message. "You see, thank you, Jimmy. When can we expect your return home?" "From dawn till dusk." "Very well. If it wouldn't be too much of an inconvenience, would you mind giving me a call when you notice that the car has departed?" "Absolutely. I'll share updates as they come." As we parted ways, a wave of uncertainty washed over me once more. 5 hours had slipped by since Jimmy's call, and in that span, I found myself enveloped in a haze of uncertainty. In an unexpected twist, the phone began to ring. "Todd, the chariot is departing." Two men entered the scene. I expressed my gratitude to Jimmy and ended the call. At this moment, certainty reigned supreme. While I was away, my two friends paid a visit to my wife. What began as a simple notion about Philip has now unfolded into a revelation. Alan is woven into the tale as well. Initially, I sought comfort in the notion that perhaps they were orchestrating a delightful surprise for my birthday, yet my birthday lingered just 4 months in the distance. Was it not a tad premature? In an effort to stave off any unwarranted alarm, I chose to reach out to a familiar face, seeking a few video cameras and a listening device. Once the day's tasks were complete, I gathered the equipment. He inquired about my need for it, and I spun a tale, claiming it wasn't intended for my use. As I navigated the road back home, a quiver ran through my hands. There was a weight of shame that settled upon me, for the thought of watching my wife felt like a betrayal in itself. I was convinced, deep down, that she would never turn against me. As I stepped into the house, Judith welcomed me with a warm and cheerful greeting. We savored a delightful meal, and then retired to our chamber, where we shared an intimate moment once more. In that moment, nothing seemed out of the ordinary with her. Typically, when a woman strays from her commitment, there is a noticeable shift in her demeanor and essence. Yet, my wife was, as always, even more remarkable. The following morning, Judith prepared for a promotional video shoot, and I accompanied her on this exciting venture. In the back seat of my car lay a bag, holding the forgotten video cameras, remnants of stories yet to be told. As the journey unfolded, Judith inquired about them. "What's that you've got in your hands, young one?" "It's a collection of things from my work. I had to let it go. I shall attend to it later, once I take my leave." With this statement, I achieved two goals with a single action. As Judith immersed herself in her work, I found my way back home. Time slipped away, and I found myself unaware that 2 hours had vanished into thin air. Yet, the cameras were meticulously arranged, One nestled in the bedroom, another positioned in the living room, a third stationed in the kitchen, and the fourth watching over the outside world. I utterly lost track of time and completely overlooked my promise to pick up Judith. As I emerged from the house, her white Ford rolled to a stop and out stepped Judith and Philip. "I reached out to you 20 times. Where were you vanishing to, thought?" Judith spoke, and I glanced at my phone. Truly, there were 20 missed calls from her. I offered my apologies, yet Judith merely strode by, a silence echoing in the space between us. In that very instant, Philip made his way forward. "My friend, you truly stumbled this time," and I found myself having to take matters into my own hands. "Apologies." I simply found myself swept away in the moment. It was a pressing summons, and I had to resolve a project. "Everything's fine. Nothing to worry about. I can lend you a hand, especially given all the times you've come to my rescue." With heartfelt farewells exchanged, I stepped back into the embrace of the house. The entire evening unfolded in a hushed ambience. Judith felt a wave of disappointment wash over her because I hadn't come to her aid. So I sought to mend a rift with a heartfelt apology. "You made a promise to come and get me. What kept you away?" An urgent order had arrived. "Grant me your forgiveness. Next time, I shall not grant forgiveness." As we embraced, warmth enveloped us, and we drifted off to sleep. Shame washed over me as I grappled with the thought of suspecting her of anything. I found it hard to accept, convinced that Jimmy, the old man, was simply letting his imagination take flight. Yet, given that he shared photos with me, I found it necessary to verify each detail myself. As the night deepened and Judith lay in slumber, I found myself compelled to unlock her phone and delve into her messages. I discovered nothing out of the ordinary within them. The device gleamed with a pristine shine. As I drifted into slumber, a sense of peace enveloped me, leaving my mind unburdened and my heart light. 2 weeks have slipped by since I set up the cameras in my dwelling. As I toiled away at work, my thoughts wandered to Judith at home, where all appeared to be well. All appeared normal, without a trace of anything amiss. Following that night, I resolved to examine Judith's phone a few more times, and it revealed itself to be unblemished. There are no indications of betrayal, any exchanges with my companions. All was as it should be. We gathered with Philip and Alan, weaving moments of connection and camaraderie. Judith toiled away, while we ventured into the city, exploring a tapestry of intriguing locales. And in the grand scheme of things, we embraced a tranquil existence. One fateful day at work, I made the choice to review the footage from the cameras. My weariness had begun to settle in, a familiar companion in this endeavor. Each moment, I came to realize that my search would yield nothing, and it felt utterly futile. Other musings began to weigh on my mind. What if Judith discovers the camera and believes I'm watching her? And placed no faith in her. I gazed into the lens, and there was Judith, gracefully unveiling the door. Surprising for me, as I activated the outdoor camera, my gaze fell upon a white Ford, quietly stationed near my home. On the porch stood Philip and Alan, their presence casting a quiet spell over the evening. With a warm smile, Judith welcomed my friends as they stepped inside. I carefully disconnected the listening device, hidden beneath the coffee table in the living room. Judith ascended the staircase to the bedroom, while Philip and Alan removed their shirts and settled onto the sofa adorned with exposed skin. Judith moved gracefully in the room, and I caught a glimpse of her retrieving a sultry costume from the wardrobe, the very same one she donned for me the night prior. My gaze was unwavering, absorbing every detail, and in that instant, I made my choice about what would come next. It was the moment to dispose of the refuse. Quite literally, I reached out to an individual with a mysterious number, their name shrouded in secrecy. But for the sake of our tale, let's refer to them as the gentleman known as Mr. Keller. He had a knack for quietly handling waste disposal whenever it was needed. I reached out to Mr. Keller, laying bare the whole scenario, my voice quivering, the phone nearly escaping my grasp. "Very well. We shall await your arrival at the payment location. As soon as the transaction is complete, the vehicle will make its way to your residence to gather the refuse." The exchange was succinct, and the price for such a service was not insignificant. With urgency in my step, I made my way to the payment location. Luckily, I found just the right amount of cash in my car for this service. I chose to review the footage and discovered my wife, already on her knees, entertaining my friends. A wave of nausea washed over me, for had I remained in the dark, I would have returned home that evening and pressed my lips against hers. I sped down the road, consumed by a wild energy, as though I had transformed into someone else entirely. I trembled uncontrollably, a wave of dizziness washing over me, as if I might lose consciousness at any moment. My heart ached deeply, and in that moment, a tear slipped down my cheek. It was beyond my comprehension how those I considered friends from school, along with my wife, could turn their backs on me in such a profound way. With haste, I found myself at the site, a forsaken structure standing in silence. With a sense of purpose, I carefully tapped the envelope filled with money beneath a sturdy stone, and crafted a message to accompany it. Eggs have been laid. In a mere moment, a message found its way to me. My little ones took to the skies, leaving the nest behind. I hurried back home, leaving the car behind, and began to watch from afar. As I glanced at my phone, it buzzed to life with a call from Jimmy. He informed me of a white Ford lurking near my house. I assured him that all was well. As I activated the cameras once more, my gaze fell upon two men reveling in the company of my wife upon the luxurious leather couch. It seemed as though I was witnessing a film meant for a more mature audience. Once more, pain washed over me. Yet, I felt the stirring within that justice was on the horizon. Just 10 minutes after I stepped through the door, a white van rolled to a stop outside. 3 robust figures, clad entirely in black and donning balaclavas, burst into my home without warning. With a single, decisive strike, one thug sent Philip crashing to the ground, while another swiftly overpowered Alan, and the third brought an abrupt end to Judith's foes. They found themselves abruptly thrust to the ground, bound tightly, with bags shrouding their faces, and in a swift motion, they were whisked away in a van that raced into the night. I observed every moment through the lenses and was captivated by their remarkable professionalism. In a swift dance of efficiency, they wrapped up the task in a mere 40 seconds. All that remained for me was to bide my time for a few days until the results arrived. I chose to consult my neighbor, hoping he might have witnessed something. Unfortunately, he had seen nothing at all. As I made my way back to work, the shadows of the evening began to stretch across the road. It was then that I picked up the phone and dialed the police, my heart heavy with the weight of the words I had to share. My wife was missing. Prior to that, I had shattered and cast aside the phones belonging to Judith and my companions, rendering them impossible to track. The following day, a tow truck came to take away the white Ford from my property. With a heavy heart, I relayed to the police the familiar tale of my return home, only to discover my wife had vanished, leaving behind no trace or hint of her whereabouts. Every neighbor in the vicinity shared their accounts, affirming that the white Ford often drew near to my residence during my absence. To my astonishment, I discovered that not only had Jimmy spotted this car close to my home, but because it was registered in Philip's name, he found himself at the center of suspicion. At first, they cast their doubts upon me, but when they reached out to my workplace, they discovered that I had been present and accounted for on the day the incident occurred. As the investigation unfolded, I took the precaution of backing up all the camera recordings onto a disk, ensuring it was hidden away securely. For days later, an anonymous video arrived, revealing the chilling sight of 3 bodies being delivered to the designated point. The scene unfolded as they were extracted from a van, their eyes, hands and feet bound, set against the backdrop of a desolate field. All three were weeping and begging for mercy, and I found it quite entertaining to observe as fate would have it. My primary stipulation was that no lives should be lost. Thus, they found themselves in the vast desert, hands free, with a simple command: remain still for an hour. Once the vehicle departed, their fate lay solely in their hands, a blank canvas awaiting their next brushstroke. They journeyed in a van from Nevada to Texas, and at that moment, I found myself indifferent to the fate of anyone's return, alive or otherwise. A month passed, and the case found itself at an impasse. The detective proposed that my wife had likely eloped with Philip, entangled in some sort of clandestine romance. I embraced his narrative. Alan was a solitary figure, drifting through life unnoticed, with no parents to call his own and no girlfriend by his side. He found himself adrift after their shared business crumbled, left unattended for a month. In the silence of his existence, he became a ghost, unseen and unheard. I chose not to pursue a divorce, for it would surely arouse suspicions. Instead, I sought the guidance of a skilled advocate, and thus began our journey through the intricate process. Should Judith fail to return home within a few months, we would have the grounds to file for divorce on account of her absence. A month later, I found myself summoned to the police station for a session of questioning, where I was to provide identification. Before me appeared two men and one woman, all captured in a single photograph. At first glance, I failed to see my wife and two friends among them. They appeared to have aged to decades beyond their true years, and I couldn't help but find it quite entertaining. They appeared in tattered, frayed garments, their bodies gaunt and weary, embodying a profound sense of despair. I discovered all three and inquired with the investigator about how they were located and their current whereabouts. He recounted that in Texas, a pair of unclothed individuals, wild and untamed, had brazenly robbed a gas station, made off with another's vehicle, and vanished into the unknown horizon. Precisely a day later, the vehicle was discovered by the side of the road. Once upon a time, a group of mischief makers found themselves in a predicament. They had taken a car, but alas, it was devoid of fuel, leaving them unable to embark on a long journey. In the end, they found themselves in handcuffs, now living out their days behind bars, serving the time for their actions. I let out a heavy sigh and reflected inwardly, grateful that they are still among the living. What a surprising turn of events this has been. I believed they would possess the wisdom to return home whole and unscathed. In a moment of sheer desperation, they found themselves drawn into the shadows of wrongdoing. A wave of dread washed over me as I came to the unsettling realization that these individuals had been a part of my journey for a considerable time. Yet I found no sympathy for them. Truly, who could feel compassion for them? In a twist of fate, I found my way to freedom through a divorce. It wasn't a walk in the park, but I triumphed and emerged as a free man at last. I journeyed to Texas, seeking to gaze into the eyes of each person who had betrayed me. All three appeared utterly oblivious. Yet, the most entertaining aspect was that none of them even entertained the thought that I could be behind it. They didn't consider it might be a reckoning for their betrayal, and it stirred a twinge of sorrow within me that they failed to grasp the weight of their transgression against me. I found comfort in remaining on the sidelines. As I gazed upon those around me, their faces were completely foreign to me. They wandered, adrift in a world that felt foreign to them. As I confronted Judith with the question of her loyalty, she met my gaze with a soft, unwavering response. Never. A smile crept onto my lips as I turned and walked away, the weight of her words lingering in the air. I truly anticipated a challenge. I believed they would come back and understand that it was I who had guided them to the desert. Yet, they revealed themselves to be so feeble, so misguided, that they only managed to plunge into an even darker abyss. I merely offered them a chance to reveal their true selves in the face of pressure. Yet, they revealed their cowardice and opted for a path of wrongdoing instead. In pondering their predicament, I find myself at a loss for how I might have responded. Yet, I feel compelled to share this. It's hard to imagine how I could have ended up in a predicament like this. I hold the people in my life in high regard, honoring them with my respect and a commitment to always speak the truth. Yet, should someone dare to cross my path, I shall not remain in silence. I shall embark on a journey of action. I've embarked on a journey to Florida, where I intend to settle for at least a year. Should I discover a companion, that would be splendid. If not, that's perfectly fine too. I've embraced a more relaxed approach to life. With ample resources at my disposal, I can embrace a life of comfort and indulge in all that brings me joy, ensuring that I want for nothing as I journey through the years ahead. I possess a keen intellect and a careful nature. I continue to grow, and I wish for all who encounter my tale to grow as well, no matter the circumstances, so they can make the best choices for themselves. When life hurls its mess your way, take hold of a rake and tidy up the chaos. Waste has its rightful place in the bin, far removed from your journey. Thank you for being a part of my tale. And so, we reach the conclusion of our tale. The tale unfolded in a most captivating manner, and we are eager to hear your thoughts on it. How long do you believe the main character's wife was unfaithful with her friends? What led the wife to seek solace in the arms of her husband's friends? Did the protagonist deliver justice to his tormentors in the right way? Or should he have embraced a gentler touch? It is our conviction that the wife deceived the main character for an extended period, skillfully concealing her true feelings, much like his companions did. In the shadows of their home, betrayal danced with chilling ease, as she wove a web of deceit that had become all too familiar. It seems we can reflect on a time, roughly a year ago, when the wife betrayed her husband for the first time. The motive behind the betrayal unfolds with remarkable clarity. The girl who emerged from poverty swiftly acquired all the material comforts. But what options lay before her? The husband toils away, while indulging in escapades with his friends, weaving a tapestry of intrigue and adventure. And so, the question emerges: who was the first to ignite this tale? It seems the girl was the one who stepped forward, though her friends might have had their own motives, perhaps driven by jealousy towards the main character, seeking to make up for their own shortcomings. The protagonist opted for a severe consequence. Though it may seem harsh, he believes he acted justly. As mentioned in the video, he disposed of the garbage, indicating his regret and a sense of relief about the decision. Yet, we believe that the entire situation could have unfolded in a gentler manner and within the bounds of the law. Your thoughts in the comments would be greatly appreciated, as they will guide us in improving and selecting only the finest tales to share. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up. Wishing you all the best. Take care.